There are so many things about the gut that we laugh and joke about. Take, for instance, these three things you are looking at right now. Hashtag National Poop Day. Yes, it is really a thing. I believe it's in February each year. Poopery, the spray that helps leave a pleasant scent behind. And the squatty potty for making your bowel movements come out more swiftly. We make light of the number two all the time. And yes, I do it too. One sort of needs to in order to make the stinky topic not so stinky. However, it's also not funny. This is me, super bloated and miserable, way back in the day, way before I ever had an inkling that I might be sick. Because you see, the way that gut problems manifest are ugly, not just physically, but also emotionally. The symptoms are real. And I'm not just talking about the constipation and bloat I experienced. No, I'm talking about a whole host of other physical manifestations. Here were some that plagued my life for years. 1. Fatigue. 2. Acne via perioral dermatitis, which you can see on this slide. 3. Mouth issues. 4. Anxiety. 5. A constant famished feeling. 6. Joint pain. And 7. Many, many more. And these physical symptoms are also painful. I'm talking physically painful. Yes, even the acne that covered my face hurt. But also, gut problems can be emotionally painful. I'm going to talk about the emotional side during this course, but for right now, there's another side of emotional pain as it related to the gut that ripped my heart into two. Meet the first man I ever loved. His name was Donnie, well, actually Donald, if you want the true name, and he was my dad. My dad was diagnosed with colon cancer in late 2017. I would heal my gut for the final time in the summer of 2018. He would then pass from colon cancer in the summer of 2019. I watched him suffer for months and months up until his very last breath. And here's where I will leave this part of my story today. I am continuing this mission for getting you answers and sharing every last thing about gut health and an appropriate diagnosis because of my dad. He was always told it's just IBS. It never is. At least I do not personally believe it ever is. My personal story is long. It's also pretty complicated. And it can also be found in full detail on my blog and on the first episode of the A Gutsy Girl podcast show. My story, though, begins about my freshman year of college after a massive heartbreak and a ton of stress. I came down with an illness, a viral illness, which lasted a couple weeks. All things considered, it was fairly normal, but after that, I was never the same again. In the years to follow, here is what I'd experience. I was chronically sick and on antibiotics, and then my tonsils and adenoids were so rotted from infection, they were removed. I went through detoxes. I had food intolerances. There was gas, pain, bloating, then diarrhea, and all over again. I was given a colitis diagnosis, and the specific diagnosis was proctitis, to be exact. I completed healing diets upon healing diets. I went through a long season of infertility, which led to a culmination of a failed IVF cycle. I then had new diagnoses of SIBO, which stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, adrenal fatigue, and a low functioning thyroid. I also had massive perioral dermatitis, which you already saw. I went through another season where we adopted 3 children from the foster care system. I had stress, and then more stress, and consequently, also more gut relapses. There was a lot of anxiety of all sorts. And literally, it goes on and on and on. And again, the recap of it all is on that first episode of the podcast. But here's what is important about all of that and how it relates to this course, and most importantly, to you. Today, I am healed. If I can, you can too. Had I known then what I know now, I would have saved myself years of misery. And this is my wish for you.